Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, and welcome back to Big 12 Insiders. Appreciate everybody being in here. Look, Big 12 it's off and running. It is off and running. I love this conference. I love the new additions. I love the competitiveness back and forth. But today we're going to talk about some stuff, and basically it comes down to the middle of this conference has to be able to pull its weight for the conference to be able to achieve what it's trying to achieve. And when I say trying to achieve, meaning to be the best basketball conference in the country. Look, it's no secret the SEC is kind of out in front with this thing. During the non-conference schedule, the SEC kind of put its best foot forward. You could say that the Big Ten kind of did, but the SEC did. Big 12 lacked a little bit, and I think it's paying the price for that. But there's a way back. There is a way back, and I kind of want to go over that and explain that, so we're going to talk about that today. Again, as always, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, continue to get into the comments section like you always do, and always hit the notification bell so you know when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. So just to recap, as far as last night, 3 games. Houston goes to West Virginia and wins. Houston looks like it's hit midseason form. Good road victory for the Cougars, 63-49 last night. Texas Tech handles TCU. TCU battled for a while. In my opinion, and this is not being disrespectful to TCU at all, but Tech kind of looked bored. They just look bored. I just think they're ready to start facing continue to face some more competition, better competition within the conference. Again, that's not a slight to TCU at all. My personal belief is I just think Texas Tech is really good. That's all. And I could be proven wrong by the end of the season, but I think Tech is really good, and I think they're in a mode right now that they want to show that on a game-to-game basis. And then Kansas State wallops Oklahoma State. It's an exact opposite of what happened a few weeks ago in Stillwater. Kansas State has won a few games in a row here. We'll see if that can continue. The competition is going to step up a little bit, but we'll find out what the Wildcats are made of. Moving on. So, look, the thing about the Big 12 and what it needs to do nationally to be considered, I don't know that they can make the claim that they're the best conference this year, but I know that what could help it is the middle of the pack needs to rise up. You know, the middle of the pack needs to beat everybody below them and really rise up, and we need to get a solid 9 teams in this tournament. Now, I've got 5 teams here that I'm going to spout off to you that I think really need to start doing their work. Now, the first team that I'm going to bring up is West Virginia. Now, West Virginia struggled here lately. They've got some work to do. Now, when you look at their resume as far as the bubble is concerned, they're 4-5, actually 4-6 now, or 4-5 in quad 1 games, which is good. They're 41 in the net. Now, the net kind of is what it is. We've seen teams over the years, as far as the net is concerned, we've seen teams have a low net and not make it as an at-large team in the NCAA tournament. So having a 41 seems like a good thing. I've seen it as low as somebody with a 30 not make it. So I think you need to up your resume. And also, we're going to talk a little bit when we get to near the end as far as some of this net stuff and how it actually doesn't make a ton of sense. But West Virginia's got to start getting on the ball. Injuries be damned. Illness be damned. You can't continue losing basketball games. You have to start winning. They're one of the teams that's got to step up here. Next one is BYU. I like BYU. They've won 3 in a row. But you look at, I don't know. You look at their resume. They're 36, number 1 in the net, which is good. But 1-4 in quad 1 games. And we know by experience with the selection committee, this is not like the football selection committee where you don't know what happened. They're looking at and where they put the most weight. Quad one games, they put the most weight. They tell you every year, who did you beat? Or first of all, who did you play and who did you beat? So they look at it, and they're 1-4 in quad one, 3-2 in quad two. Those two losses, but they're going to get more opportunities as the season goes on. That's the good thing for BYU, but they have to win. That's the thing. They got to win. So yeah, you got to get that quad one resume up. But like I mentioned, they're going to have their opportunity. But I really like their team. They're playing better right now. And I think they've kind of solidified themselves as a team within the Big 12 that can fight for that last bid for the conference. Baylor isn't in any danger. They're 3-6 in quad one. They're 29 in the net. I don't think Baylor's in danger as of now. But I've said it over and over again. I think Baylor is one of those teams that we have to watch. They're one of those teams that, for instance, if they stay inconsistent the way that they are, they'll have a high net, but the committee will leave them out because they won't have beaten enough good teams. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where Baylor is right now. Baylor's got to continue to find a little bit of consistency here and build that resume up, because I've said it, that they're one of those teams that we think is supposed to be good, but it isn't necessarily played to what the expectations are. Those teams a lot of times get left out of the tournament because they end up with 12, 13 losses. This is a year that you can't afford to have a 12 or a 13 loss. If that happens, they're going to get left out. I don't anticipate that. Don't want that. But it could happen. Baylor's got to find some consistency. They're clearly in the tournament as of right now. Safely in the tournament as of right now. But we know that there's a whole month and a half of basketball left. A lot of things can change. Baylor's got to kick it into high gear here. Look, UCF is another team. They've played well as of late. Look at their resume. They're 61 in the net. Now, you would think, oh, man, they're 61. But it's weird because they're 3-6 in quad one, and they do have one quad two loss. But 3-6, yet 61. Other team, and their record isn't horrible. Other teams out there, and we'll go over that, worse record against quad one, lower in the net. That's why the net is just a tool. Okay? It's literally just a tool. It can't be the end-all, be-all of everything, because it's not going to be. It's just flat out not going to be. Again, the selection committee is going to tell you, who did you play? Who did you beat? Yeah, your net is high, or yeah, your net is low. That's fine. But sometimes you can manipulate it, whatever the case may be. But that's just a tool. We use our eyes. And that's why I love the basketball selection committee so much more than I do football. Because they say the eye test means more than anything. Because we can watch who you played. And we can watch who you beat. We can flat out see and watch how those games went. Did you get blown out? Were the games close? All of that stuff. They don't want to, well, this conference is better than this conference. They don't deal with any of that nonsense. Just let me see who you played, who you beat, and I'll watch. And then we'll make our decision from there. Perfect. And that's the way it should be, people, by the way. That's absolutely the way it should be. Now, the last team here is Utah. And to me, Utah is the longest shot. They have 0 quad one wins. Absolutely 0. Their net is 75. Utah's got a long way to go to make it. I don't think that they are going to make it, but I'm never going to write anybody out. Again, about 6 weeks of basketball still to be played. We're at least 5 that are still to be played. So there's a lot that can still happen here in order for them to make the tournament. They're digging out of a big hole, but they've got the upcoming schedule to be able to dig out of that hole. And that's the thing about all of these teams. The next few weeks, it's make or break for all of them. They've got an opportunity. But for the conference as a whole, I think 4 of these teams, at least 4, maybe even 5, but at least 4 have to make a strong push. That means just beat the brakes off of everybody below you. And then you're going to have to beat some teams that you're not going to be favored to win. You're going to have to win some of those games. And that's what I'm looking forward to within this conference is teams competing at a higher level than maybe they thought that they could compete at. And for this conference, obviously, we've talked about how they got to go and win games within the conference. I think that's the easy part, to be honest with you. Clearly, you got to go win games in the NCAA tournament. I'm not saying winning is easy, but that's the easy solution. Getting there is the tougher solution, proving that you need to be there, especially off of last year. We know how committees can be. They're human beings. And they say, hey, man, we're not going to put all these Big 12 teams in here again. We saw what happened last year. Few of them didn't deserve to be there. Well, now you got to improve your resume to leave as little doubt as possible. As little doubt as possible. Now, here's the tricky part, and this is why I say the net can only be a tool. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, Cincinnati and Arizona State shouldn't be on the bubble. They're not qualified to be in the tournament. We've watched them play. I don't think either one of them has proven to be anywhere close to a tournament team. Now, most bracketologies haven't updated as of today, but if they were, or I take that back. The previous one has Arizona State as one of the first teams out, okay, and has Cincinnati as one of the next teams out, okay. Well, here's Cincinnati's resume. They're still at 49 in the net, which to me is absolutely amazing. They have 0 quad 1 wins. Okay? 0. 0-7 and 2 quad 2 losses. Oh, I take that back. They have 0 quad 1 wins. Arizona State, on the other hand, they're 2-7. I don't know how they're still ahead of UCF. I don't see how either one of these teams are ahead of UCF. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. And let me clarify all that because I combobulated and just screwed it all up. Cincinnati, yes, is 49 in the net. They have 0 quad 1 wins. They're 0-7 and 2 quad 2 losses. Absolutely. And they're still higher than UCF, who's 3-6 against quad 1 and has 1 quad 2 loss. How is that possible? How is that possible? And those two have played. So I'm just trying to figure out how some of this stuff is possible. I just, again, that's why it's like PFF grades. The PFF, yeah, they're a tool, but use your eyes. Your eyes will tell you a lot more than what, I don't know, than what PFF, because again, how they're grading things, and you're thinking, how did this guy get a positive on this play? I just watched it. That's not what happened. So what are we talking about here? And that's the difference. That is the difference. So, and I guess UCF and Cincinnati, they're about to play, but they have not played as of yet. So I apologize. Either way, how are you higher in the net than somebody? You've got 3 quad 1 wins and somebody has none. And your record, I just don't know. I just don't know. Arizona State's the same way. Arizona State's ahead of UCF. 1 less quad 1 win. It baffles me. It baffles me. But again, it's just a tool. And they've played the same number. It'd be one thing if UCF only played 4 quad 1 teams and they won 3 games. They're 3-6. So they've played quite a few. Cincinnati hasn't played as many, and they've won 0. So Arizona State, 2-7. So it's weird. I get it. But we'll figure it all out. We're going to figure all this out. Just keep winning and keep pushing. Just keep winning and keep pushing. I haven't written off Arizona State just yet. I think I've written off Cincinnati. But I haven't written off Arizona State as of yet. I still don't trust the coaching there. I don't. I know there's a lot of ASU fans that feel the same way, and I keep saying that over and over because they keep saying the same things to me. So, yeah, I don't trust the coaching there. Don't think I trust it at Cincinnati either. Bearcat fans are extremely intelligent. Both of them are extremely intelligent when it comes to basketball IQ, the fan bases, I should say. And neither one of them are very happy with what's going on there. And because Cincinnati, they were both supposed to be really good, and they're not. Haven't given up on ASU. think I've given up on UC, which is why I didn't bring those two up as far as making the tournament. I don't think there's a chance that they're going to do that because, again, the selection committee is going to look at who did you play, who did you beat. They're not going to say, oh, well, your net is higher than UCF, so we're going to put you in, even though they got 3 more quad 1 wins than you. They're not going to do that, people. They're not. Now, UCF will be a team that gets talked about. Let's just say they end the season, and their resume is exactly as it is right now. 61 in the net. Somebody's going to get left out with a 38 in the net. Well, they're going to go back to, well, how many quad 1 wins do you have? Well, 1. UCF has 3. How many quad 2 losses do you have? Well, 2. UCF, they have 1. What are we doing here? And that's going to be the difference. So UCF, I don't even have them on the bubble right now. I got them in, and bracketology has them in. But these teams right here, BYU, Utah, BYU, West Virginia, Utah. I do have Baylor, and I guess UCF. Those are the teams that I'm looking at to be able to make a run here. I think I don't have UCF on the bubble, just like I don't have Baylor on the bubble. I have both of them solidly in this tournament. I want to say BYU as well, but give it another week or two. I like what BYU is doing. So West Virginia, don't have them on the bubble either, but West Virginia is in a bad way right now. They got to get some things figured out. They won a lot in non-conference and early on in the conference, but they're in a bad way. They got to get this thing back on track because they keep going. Again, West Virginia was one of those teams that people at the beginning of the year weren't saying they were going to be very good. Nobody was predicting them to make the tournament. Is that coming to fruition? They had a great non-conference schedule as far as wins and losses. Same thing early in the conference. But now it's like, I don't know. So they got to get it back on track because, like I said, injuries and illness be damned. Nobody's going to care. Got to start winning the games. So, well, I appreciate everybody, man. Thank you. Tomorrow we will cover what's going to happen this weekend within the Big 12. Really excited. Decent games. Some decent games again this weekend within the Big 12. So I appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.